Hello everyone, Josh here with Access Network, bringing you another Outer Plane video, and today we're going to be making the full beginner guide. So basically, I'm more or less going to be just touching on a lot of various different subjects and topics here within the game, going through a lot of different aspects of the game, so you can kind of just be a little bit more familiarized with what the game has to offer, what you should do, and just, kind of just get through the motions here so you're more acquainted and, understand the game a little bit better, especially if you're new here. Now, we are also doing a preparation series, which will be kind of what we're doing here today, but breaking every little thing down, going more in depth, and really trying to allow the user to understand, some of the things that you should look out for, some of the things that you should try to avoid, how to best use your resources and stuff like that, and what types of team comps work here and there. Our boy Gherky here on the channel is putting that together. He already has episode 1 already done. It's here on the channel. Go check it out. Episode 2, I believe, is going to be rolling out sometime tomorrow, so look forward to that. And I'm not entirely sure how many more he's going to be doing before global launch, but he's trying to get as many of those done as possible. They're going to be very, very helpful, especially if you are free to play. And, of course, your understanding of the game is kind of like, as a new user going in for global launch. If you're more of a CBT vet or you've been playing SCA, these videos might not be as helpful, but there might be some stuff here that we share that maybe you didn't know. So hopefully these are helpful to a lot of people. But with that all being said, let's get into the actual full beginner guide. So we have the main lobby here. When you first get into the game, this is more or less going to be the screen you're going to be seeing after you get through the tutorial and stuff like that. If you've played games like this before, there's probably going to be a tutorial. It's going to take 5 to 10 minutes to get through, and then you're allowed to kind of just go off on your own and explore the game a little bit. Well, this is the game's lobby. Up in the top left, we have, of course, Access YouTube right now, which is my username for this particular account. Your first name change is free. After that, it's going to cost, I think, 300 gems or ether, as they call it in this game. You can see I'm currently level 45. Currently, the max level cap, I believe, is 50 right now. I'm not sure if they're going to, extend that for global launch or not, but I believe it's 50 at the moment. You have your avatar border frame, whatever you want to call it, and then, of course, you also have your avatar. A lot of people have actually asked me, they said, Josh, how do you actually change that avatar? Because a lot of people don't even know, how to change it. So you can go down here to hero, select a hero, and then go up here and select to change them to your leader. Once you do that, you go back, boom, they're now your new account avatar. So just a quick little tip there if you were not familiar. You can also put in a little bit of a text about yourself. You can do your birthday, which mine is wrong for some reason. I don't know why it's like that. You have your friend ID. That'll be very helpful if you're trying to add new friends. You got your guild that you're in, your arena tier that you're currently in. You have your total account CP. This is not your team CP. This is your account CP. So keep that in mind. Don't confuse the two. You have your supports down here, which you can set up, for water, earth, fire, dark, and light. You get to select one of each to put in there. So when people do add you and they want to take you in, to any type of mode that they're currently trying to clear that allows supports, which, mostly at this point in time, it's going to be story mode. They'll be able to grab, whatever your earth hero is, your water hero, your fire, dark, light, whatever, and then bring those into battle. And they can use that individual hero once per day, which is very nice. So it's very nice to have a lot of friends in this game. It could really help you clear a lot of content. So that's another helpful tip for you going forward. We have stamina at the top here. We have gold, we have our ether, your basically, your main prominent currency, the premium currency, if you will. A lot of that you're going to be using for either additional dungeon runs per day for your daily dungeons. You can use that for more stamina. You can use that for summons, etc., etc. You could turn on your UI on your lobby or turn it off if you like. You got your in-game chat, which I don't honestly, I never use those in game. So that's completely up to you if you want to use those or not. You have your mailbox, and then, of course, you have your full pop-out menu. You have your codex, your missions, your check-in, manage teams, hero, adventure, inventory, shop, recruit, settings, base, guild, and friends. And we will go through a lot of those here very soon. You have your main lobby you can go back to. You also have the help page, which has a lot of very useful information if you want to learn a little bit more about the mechanics of the game. And that's pretty much more or less all there is for that up there in the top section. Down here, we have current events that are going on. You can go through and select, claim rewards if you have any rewards to be claimed. You also have your time to resupply stamina, which we get 2 times a day, so a free 40 stamina per day right now, which is nice. They also have their social media links if you want to go to any of their social media platforms, like their official Discord, for example, Twitter, Facebook, etc. You also have the calendar, which you can get to from here. You can also get to it from the other pop-out menu, which we were just at. You can see what your rewards are going to be, depending on what day you currently are on the calendar for the check-in. So there's that. We have the Ava's Tactical Guide, which you can clear. Try and get 3-star clear of this. It just gives you various gem rewards. You got food there as well. Looks like some skill books you can do. This is a very good area if you want to try out heroes and try out teams without going into like other content. It's just a nice little area. You can just go in here and just play around and learn a little bit more about the actual gameplay mechanics itself. We have here, this is the story. There's hard mode and normal, 10 chapters each. There's less stages individually to do in hard mode versus normal. Because as you can see here for like episode 2, for example, there's 30 stars, whereas on hard mode, there's 15. So there's not nearly as many individual stages to clear in hard mode, but they are, of course, a big upgrade over normal mode when it comes to difficulty, obviously. So there's that. So you have adventure there, which we kind of weren't going to go to yet, but it was just already available, so why not talk about it then? And now we also have the current battle pass, which you can go up to level 20 to get all the rewards for normal if you're free to play. If you do buy it, if you want to purchase, you'll get all the premium rewards as well, which you can see here. I'm not sure if global is going to use the same type of battle pass or if it's going to be slightly different or not. We'll have to see in the next few days. But it doesn't take more than a couple weeks to max out your battle pass. It's really not that hard at all, at least in its current format. So hopefully they keep it the same because it's not that bad. It's a pretty standard battle pass that you can clear pretty quickly. You'll have missions here that you can complete daily and weekly. That'll give you your EXP to level up your battle pass, which you can see I've already maxed it, so we don't have any currently. But that's where those will be. So that's nice. You'll even have like quests and stuff like here for the guide quests that you'll have to do. There's 10 stages of guide quests currently. These are some of the most important things that you will do in the entire game because the level of resources that you will obtain from these guide quests are going to really set you up nicely in the first couple weeks of the game, especially if you are a free-to-play hero, or a free-to-play player. Yeah, it's a free-to-play hero, ladies and gentlemen. If you are a free-to-play player, you want to try and get through as many of these guide quests as quickly as you can because they will benefit you so much going forward. It'll set you up very nicely, especially when you're trying to build out that core 4, that first team that you're trying to build up for PvP overall content. It's going to be very helpful to go through and do these as quickly as you possibly can. These are extremely important. They're very rewarding. And honestly, they're not all that hard to complete either if you pay attention and know what you're doing and try not to jump ahead. Try not to, throw a bunch of resources and too many heroes. You're going to do these just fine. You might get stuck on the stage 10 one, but this is like literally expected to be end game right now. And yeah, and that's pretty much it. And honestly, I could go through and clear this. I just never bothered to go back and do it yet. But I will to get some more of these either for some more pulls or for some more dungeon runs. But yes, definitely clear these as fast as you can. These are highly, highly important. So if you are taking notes, mark that down. Guide quests are one of the main priorities that you want to focus on in this game. Try and get those completed as fast as possible. All right, moving on. We have the shop here. You got some of your packs in there that you can buy. I don't know if the shop prices are going to be the same, if the packs are going to be the same when global drops or not. We'll have to see. We have the resource shop here. You got your normal, your friendship points, your arena, pieces, and Star's Memory. Star's Memory, I just want to add a little context here. I know Gherky will probably go more into depth on some of these things, but the Star's Memory, this is going to be something that you will not have access to when you first start the game until the first initial rate up banner has ended. Because the only way to get Star Memories is to actually summon and not use that on the actual pity itself. Because there is a pity mileage in the game. And if you don't use it, you'll get the Star Memories instead. It'll be converted to Star Memories. And then you can use the Star Memory shop. So Don't expect to use this shop for probably the first couple weeks of global, depending on, you know, how long the first rate up banner is going to be. So keep that in mind. So this will be a shop that you just won't have access to at the beginning, but you will later on, and it is an incredible shop. Pieces, this is how you're going to get additional shards for your heroes outside of doing, you know, pulls and side story. We have Arena here, which is one of the more important shops in the entire game, specifically for the reason of being able to get professional skill manuals, or skill books as we like to call them, because that is the highest tier skill book that you can get in the game currently, and you get 2 of those every week for 700 medals. So you definitely want to try and do as much Arena as you possibly can. Arena is also going to be rewarding in its own right with gems, which is also going to be very, very nice. The friendship point shop is also very good. You got daily stamina there, you have Arena tickets daily there, you have clear tickets daily there. It's a nice little shop. It definitely makes having friends be rewarding, where some games you'll feel that having friends don't really do much, but in this game you can use their supports in different types of content, especially story mode, and there's also a pretty decent daily shop that you can utilize as well. So friendships in this game are actually pretty good. I have to give them kudos on that. The normal shop, of obviously you're just going to be using your premium currency here to get whatever you want. There's also some freebies that we get for weekly and daily. You get some gold there. Basic skill manuals weekly, you want to try and get those as well, because believe it or not, you will get to a point in the game where you're going to be relying a lot on the shops for skill books, which is currently where I'm at right now, where you've cleared most of the content and you're lacking skill books. So you got to rely on these shops daily and weekly to kind of pile up those skill books so you can start building up additional heroes and better fill out your box. So I just want to kind of throw that all out there. We have our daily missions, weekly missions, and achievements. They all have random rewards and stuff like that. It's pretty standard. You have your inventory. We have our gear, our special gear, which is basically your talismans and your exclusive equipment. You have your gems, which are not currently available in the game yet. Hopefully they'll have that ready to go for global. You have your materials, which is just your standard assortment of different types of materials in the game. Like you have your upgrade stones, which is basically what you're gonna be using to limit break your heroes beyond like level 20, 40, 60, and 80, all the way up to a max of level 100. You have your hammers that you're gonna be using to level up and enhance your gear. You also have what they call these catalysts, I guess you could call them, and these are used to reforge your gear. You know, you have your red gear, your blue gear, and your green gear, and then your normal gear. These are considered kind of like dupes, these glue knights. You know, there's different tiers of those as well. Like most other resources in the game, you're gonna be using those as potential gear dupes, so you can, you know, in a way, kind of awaken your gear, if that makes sense. You know, raise the tier of the gear. And we'll talk more about that here in a little bit if we do get around to the gear section. Otherwise, Gherky, again, will probably cover a lot of this more in depth in his preparation videos. So again, stay tuned for those. You have your sweep tickets, which uses the ticket itself plus whatever stamina cost it has. The only difference is if you use a sweep ticket, you don't have to manually go in or even auto battle. You just completely skip the whole ticket. Or I'm sorry, you skip the entire battle instantly and get your reward for it. So these save a ton of time, and they can also be utilized in a very strategic way to gain EXP for heroes in your box that are not yet quite invested into. Like, this is a good way to start taking heroes from level 5 to 20, you know, 20 to 40, you know, 40 to 60, 60 to 80, etc., because you can go into like stage 10 dungeons, use those sweep tickets with a team that's very underpowered to give them a ton of EXP with minimum effort. So these sweep tickets can be used very strategically in this game to do a lot of different things. There's also another strategy where if you're having a very difficult time clearing a, you know, particular stage and you don't feel like struggling every single time you want to go back in there, taking up a ton of time, if you clear that stage one time in a dungeon, you can then sweep it from there on after forever without having to go in and manually do it again. Or in another situation, if you can 3-star clear a story stage one time initially, you can then go in and sweep that as well without having to run the same team comp or, you know, hit any of the requirements or whatever, or struggle to go through it manually if you were struggling to begin with. So again, Those sweep tickets are very, very good in this game. You can do a lot of good things with those. We also have gifts here, which you're going to be using to raise the trust level of your heroes to level 10 to eventually unlock that character's exclusive equipment. And we have a whole video about the top exclusive equipments in the game, so I recommend going and checking that out. Now we have consumables. So there's just, I mean, these are basically all the different materials you're going to be getting in the entire game, all there in your inventory. And then this is the guild section. When you are able to create or join a guild, you will be met with the guild shop, the monolith, the managed guild, and the guild board. The guild shop also has some really good rewards in here as well for both daily and weekly. We also have weekly products, guild supplies in the shop list. And we'll talk more about the base too, because some of that stuff's tied to the base. So you have your guild currency right here. That's your personal guild currency that you can use to buy your own personal things in the guild shop. And then this is the guild medals. This is basically the guild-wide currency that your guild leader can utilize to upgrade your guild in multitude of ways. Either offer more options to buy stuff from the shop, increase your monolith, which will give you additional bonuses and stuff like that for your guild itself. And then the guild board, this is where you can face the fire guild boss, the water guild boss, or the earth wind guild boss. And right now, guild raid is not unlocked. We're not entirely sure what guild raid will be. Hopefully that'll be a content that they open up for global, because I'm very excited to see what guild raid is actually going to be. You know, any kind of new content is always enjoyable. You can see your guild members sitting here at the table. If you played Epic 7, this kind of looks kind of like the Epic 7 lobby in a way. But yeah, so that's pretty much the guild in a nutshell. Okay, and then we have recruit. This is where you're going to have 3 different banners when you first start the game. The one will be the dash. That'll be your selective. It'll have, I believe, 5 different 3-star heroes that you can grab. Let me try and name them off the top of my head here. We have Alice, we have Maxwell, we have Lapis, we have Eliza, and we have Noah. Noah being the reroll target there. You definitely want to grab her from that. And then you're going to have a rate up banner. Obviously, you can't see the rate up banner here either, because right now in the SCA version of the game, we're kind of in limbo right now waiting for global launch, so there is no current rate up banner here, but usually there is. Anytime you pull a rate up hero inside of a rate up banner and it's a dupe, like let's say you already, like let's say the last one we just had was Noah. If you already own Noah and you pull Noah in the rate up banner, it's 150 shards every time you pull her, and 150 shards if you grab her from the actual mileage recruit, which you can see we have no mileage recruit currently right now. And by the way, these are the coins. These mileage coins are what turns into star memories if you don't use them for the mileage hero. And to get the mileage hero, you got to get 200 of these, or basically 200 pulls, or if you want to break it down into gems, that's 30,000 gems, because it is 1,500 per multi. This is the normal recruit banner. This is just a banner that's going to be up here forever. This is just a general pull banner that more additional units will be added to as they add more characters to the game over time. You can see the rates are in here as well. It's 2% chance to pull a 3-star hero. It's 19% chance to pull a 2-star hero. And it's 79% chance to do a 1-star. Now, there are a couple special requirement heroes in here to add to the general pool. Like Sigma, you must clear 100 floors of tower to have Sigma added to your general pool going forward. And Stella would be another one as well, where you have to beat hard mode of story. Now, that's currently how you unlock both those characters right now. I don't know if they're going to change that between now and global. I doubt it, but that is what it is at the moment. And also keep in mind, if you do unlock Sigma and you do unlock Stella, your rates to pull those individual 3-stars will drop, because it has to account for the new heroes being added to the pool. So when you first start the game, you will not have Stella and Sigma unlocked. Therefore, the 0.15 will actually be slightly higher than that for you. And then it'll decrease depending on how many additional units you have added between these two heroes. So keep that in mind. There's a bit of a strategy there as well. If you want to try and pull for Stella, for example, you might want to save up a lot of your resources until you beat hard mode of story. Then you can try and go through into the banner itself and pull for her. So if you are trying to chase down a Stella, that is my recommendation to you. We have tickets up here. These are normal recruit tickets. We also have rate up tickets as well that you could buy from the shop. You also get them from Guide Quest and some other various things in the game will give you those. You can't see those currently because we have no rate up banner at the moment. These right here, these are what you get for pulling dupes. Every time you pull a dupe, you get an assorted amount. I might have this added to the master sheet later on, because I don't think I've done that yet, so I might start adding this to the master sheet. But for example, if you pull like a dupe of a 3-star hero, you're going to get 15 of these, for example, and you can use these to trade in for shards in the shard shop, which we already showed earlier in the video. So hopefully I explained the recruit section enough. Again, Gherky could probably break a lot of this stuff down even more. All right, now we have the hero panels here. We have all of our heroes in our box currently right now. You can see we have a few of them still locked on this particular account. I don't have Stella, Leo, Lapis unlocked, Maxwell, Kate, Party, Veronica, Alice, Siren, and obviously I don't have Sigma unlocked quite yet either, but all the other units we have unlocked. It'll show you down here how many shards you have, and then it'll tell you how many shards you need to transcend, which of course will take them up another star. You can go all the way up to 6 stars. I do have a dupe requirement chart in the Outer Plane master sheet, which you can find in the description below, which will tell you how many shards a 1-star hero needs to get up to a 6-star, how many a 2-star hero needs to get to a 6-star, and how many a 3-star hero needs to get to a 6-star. I have all that broken down, and how many shards you can actually farm per day in the side story, because this game does offer a side story that allows you to farm up between 10 and 20 shards per day, depending on what unit it is, because there is a special case for the 4 starter heroes in this game, where they can actually get 2 of their shards farmed per day, whereas everyone else in the game can only get 1 of their shards farmed up per day. So that's why I said between 10 and 20. But again, that chart explains all of it. You can go check that out in the description below at our Outer Plane master sheet. So there's all that. You can go in here and check out the heroes info. You can see all their individual stats. You can see what level you are, how much EXP you need, how many times you limit broke them. As you can see, I fully limit broke Francesca, because level 80 is the final limit break that you need to do, because it goes 20, 40, 60, 80, and then you just finish off leveling them up to 100. You can see what their typing is here. You can see she is a striker, her subclass is attacker, and her main element is dark. So that is Francesca, for example. You can see down here what their trust level is. You want to get to level 10 if you want to get the exclusive equipment. This is their gear. You can go in there and check out all the gear, equip, unequip, enhance, reforge, etc., etc. We have a gear video on the channel. Go check that out if you want a little more in-depth, of how the gear system actually works. We have special gear. This is, again, where your talismans will be and your exclusive equipment when you do unlock them. We have the skills. Skill 1, skill 2, which is sometimes also a passive. Sometimes it's even a hybrid. Like for Eliza, I believe she's one of those ones where skill 2 is a skill 2 and a passive. It's both. You also have your skill 3, aka your ultimate, and then you have your chain ability down here and your dual attack ability all wrapped into one. So that is the skills. You have your transcend. This is, again, where we already briefly mentioned, where you can just star up your heroes. You also get transcending stat changes. You can even unlock additional burst levels. You can get action points, etc., etc. And then your trust level. This is where you're going to go in and give gifts to your hero. Some heroes have certain gifts that they like, and if they like them, they give you double the EXP versus whatever the base is. So if you can see here, we're getting 900 for just giving 3 of those, where normally that would only be, I believe, because how much are these actually worth? I wish it would tell me. I'd have to go back to another menu to look. But let me just take those off, for example. So the ones that she likes is giving 300. The one that she doesn't like is giving 200. So you're getting additional EXP there. So just little useful information. And when you do, level up, each level will give you additional rewards. As you can see, level 1, she'll unlock some more expressions and some voice lines. Level 2, you get some food. Level 3, you get some stones that are going to be used for, again, limit breaking. Level 4, some gear hammers, some more stones, some gems, some more stones, a skill book, some shards as well. And then at level 10, you get the actual exclusive equipment, and that's what the exclusive equipment does. And I already have an exclusive equipment video out there for y'all if you want to check it out and see which exclusive equipments are actually worth going for. And then you can go ahead and rotate here if you want to get some nice images for your wallpapers or whatever. You can even hide the UI. If you're a content creator like me, this could be very helpful for thumbnails. So there you go. That is basically the hero menu in a nutshell. We have the base. The base is where a lot of things in the background happen, which is really nice. The anti-particle generator, as Gherky's already discussed heavily in his base video, he did make a full video about bases, and he also covered this in his preparation episode 1 video that he posted the other day. So definitely go check that out. But essentially, you want to try and push through story as much as possible, and you want to upgrade your anti-particle generator as much as possible, because this is your idle rewards in the game. And as you can see, you can get up to 2.34 ether or gems per hour. You can get up to half of your antimatter. This is the currency you're going to use to upgrade all your different bases and unlock new bases. You also have your chests in here as well. You get 1 every hour. And then your sweep tickets, which are very, very good. As we already mentioned earlier, you're going to get 1.18 per hour at this time. Now, if they add more story mode and we're able to progress even further, like chapter 11 plus, then I'm assuming these auto rewards would get even better, because a lot of these, outside of the antimatter, this does not change. But these other 3, I believe, these are being, taken into account based on your progress and story, which is very, very good. So if we get more story, at the very least, hopefully we're going to get more gems and more sweep tickets a day. That would be awesome. But yes, you definitely want to try and upgrade this as fast as possible, as well as start unlocking some of your other bases and building those up as well. But again, we have a whole video covering that, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it. Okay, moving on. We have adventure. We already briefly mentioned this. This is basically your story mode. We've already talked about that right here. Adventure, you can go in there and you can see we have individual stages. If you see a stage here that just has gems on it, that is a storyline stage where it's just purely dialogue or any kind of like cinematic. There is no fighting involved, so these are just always automatic clears when you get to those, and you get some gems for it. You get area rewards as well based on how many stars you get. There are star requirements. You can go in here and you can see what the star requirements are. You also have your team set up. You can see your chain preview. But again, a lot of that has already been covered here on the channel. And you can also read the in-game helpful guide, tool tips, or whatever to kind of get a better idea of those as well. So we're not going to spend a lot of time explaining all that. It's pretty common sense for the most part. Side story, again, this is where you're going to go in. For heroes that you have unlocked, their side stories for, you're going to go in, you're going to do all their stages, and then when you get to the final stage, you can do reward settings, and then you're going to get the main hero shard once per run, and then you can select what other 1 or 2 star hero shard you'd like to get as well. So this is a good way to start starring up your 2-star heroes in the game daily by completing that. It's also going to help you get your 3-star heroes or your 2-star heroes in the case of the 4 starters. And I have that all broken down again in the shard guide chart in the OUTERPLANE master sheet in the description below. So that's going to be very helpful if you are trying to farm up shards for particular characters to build up for your teams for different content. And when you do fully 100% side story, you unlock really cool artwork of said characters. So it's very nice, and I'm sure a lot of you enjoy this one more than you probably should. So that is side story in a nutshell. We have challenges. This is where a lot of your daily dungeons are going to be. You got your bounty hunter, your bandit chase, your upgrade stone retrieval. That's going to be your daily dungeons. You also have your weapons and accessory dungeons. You have your armor dungeons for your gear sets. Both the special request, ecology study, and identification have 3 elemental bosses in them. As you can see, we have fire, water, and earth, wind, whatever. And then down here, same situation, except it's now green, blue, and red. So you definitely want to look at our tier list that we've already prepared for you in the OUTERPLANE master sheet to kind of see what units are built better for particular bosses and what boss fights that you really want to try and prioritize when you're trying to put gear on your initial team when you're playing the game. So there's all that. We have the Archdemon's Ruins. This is a fun little mode where you go in and you just got to go through. Sometimes there's little puzzles in there that you got to clear. The puzzles are not difficult at all. Trust me. It's nothing like IMR. If you've played IMR, you did the Space Temple, it's kind of similar to this, except we're also getting a draft artifacts, where basically 3 artifacts will pop up on your screen after you either collect a material on the map, or if you beat an enemy, they will give you 3 options. You choose whatever one you want that benefits your team, and then you just kind of carry on doing that until you get to the final boss, and then you collect all the chests and stuff like that and get all your good rewards. This is a good way to get a lot of skill books early on, is clearing the deeps. The Infinite Corridor is basically the deeps, but harder. You know, the bosses in here are going to be a lot more harder. This is going to be a good way to get your chain point talismans, which I highly recommend grabbing. Now, these, you cannot do these daily. There is a reset timer. After you clear it, you got to wait until the reset timer is done, and then you go in and do the next stage or do the same stage over and over again if you like. The deeps are more of a one-time clear thing. You do it once and then it's done. So that is the difference between the two. Very fun little mode there. We have the Skyward Tower, which has 100 floors. As you see, currently on this account, I'm at 96. I don't have Noah built on this account because this was my bleed team account, where I was thoroughly testing the bleed team. If you want to see a video for that, it's also on the channel where I fully reviewed the bleed team. So we're sitting at 96 right now out of 100. This tower resets monthly, and if you clear it one time completely, you will get a Sigma for free and also unlock her in your pulls. But unfortunately, she's a terrible hero right now. Hopefully she gets a buff. So there's that. And I think that's pretty much it for challenges. And then we have Arena here. You have your match opponents, your memorable match, which will give you a little bit of gems there if you would like to do that, and some medals, your ranking info. You can see where you're ranked. I don't play as much PvP on this particular account because we are close to global, so I just don't really care at the moment. But if you are playing on global, you're going to want to push as much of as much of Arena as you possibly can, because you want to get as many Arena medals as you can, because the Arena medals go very far in this game, because the Arena shop is actually pretty solid for daily and weekly rewards, especially getting those top tier skill books. You definitely want to try and grab those every week, and that's going to be 700 medals at least minimum. So you want to do as much battles as you can. You got your reward info as well, which you're going to want to get. This is going to be a free-to-play's main way to get their gems weekly after you do all the first time clear rewards of all the content in the game and achievements. So when you get to that point, you start running into a bit of a gem drought. This is definitely going to be where you're going to want to try and get your gems from weekly. So you definitely want to push Arena. Well, you want to push both, but Arena you definitely want to push. But you can kind of see here, we also have our battle record. We see who we fought, who we lost to, etc., etc. People will fight you when you get the Platinum. I'm not sure why real players start showing up at Platinum, but not beforehand. Maybe it's because in the SEA version, we just don't have enough players. I assume in Global, you should be running into real players a lot sooner than that. We'll have to see. Because it would be weird if it's like that on Global 2, where you don't even see real players and it's just all bots until Platinum. I don't know. It would just be kind of weird to me, but it could happen. You can set up your defensive team here as well. So you have all that going on. You have the shop, which we already talked about. You can challenge to earn 20 points, earn 10, or earn 5. If you lose, you will lose that amount of points, though, too. So keep that in mind. You will lose points if you lose the fight. And depending on how many trophies you have, that's when you're going to go up to the next tier. And you definitely want to tier up, because your first time tiering up gives you a lot of gems. So you definitely want to do that as well in the first, couple weeks of playing the game. You want to get as much gems as you can, stockpile them up, and then go in and try and pull for your heroes to try and fill out your box and get the units that you need for all the types of content you're trying to clear. So that is, ladies and gentlemen, for the most part, our full beginner guide. I know I didn't go into too much detail of like every individual thing. There are a few other things that we could do, that we could talk about. We could talk a little bit more about heroes. We could talk more about managing teams, what type of team setups you can do. But we already have a lot of that content covered here on the channel. And as I said, Gherky is also doing a mini series for preparing for global launch. He's doing a preparation series. Episode 1 is already out. Definitely go check that out. The next episode should be out tomorrow, and more will be following until global launch. So I hope you all enjoyed. Hopefully I answered a lot of your, at least beginner questions of what you should do, what you should focus on, some of the things in the game, and understanding some of those things as well if you were confused or not familiar beforehand. But if you have any additional questions, feel free to let us know in the comment section below or join us in the Discord. So that's going to be it for today's video. I hope you all enjoyed. Hopefully we summarized everything that we needed to in today's video. So that's going to be it for me. Don't forget to subscribe, take notifications, join us in the Discord in the description below as always, and follow us on Twitter at Exodus Network. And I will catch you all in the next one. Until then, as always, peace.